So today, what we will be discussing is basically we're moving nicely through our course outline. The first unit was just the introduction to the course. Now we're building up this experimental evidence that we're going to use in a synthetic way in the next unit of the course to build up a quantum theory. And as we go through this experimental evidence, our first bit of business is to establish what are really the building blocks of the world around us. Last time we saw the very clear evidence for the electron, and we finally characterized it in terms of its charge and mass. And now we're in the middle of, and we will actually be completing then our discussion of the experimental evidence for the existence of our second building block, nuclei. And of course, once we have the basic constituents of matter, the final building block we need are the interactions. Now, for the interactions, I'm going to be depending upon your background in electricity and magnetism, and that you have seen experimental evidence for those interactions. So I'll mark that also with a check mark. Now, moving on into the second half of today's lecture, we're then going to begin to consider the behavior of these building blocks so we can build up a proper mathematical description of the world around us. And our first crack at that will be looking at a very interesting experiment, the photoelectric effect, where photo, of course, means light. So we're going to be looking at how the electromagnetic interaction modifies the behavior of electric, or in other words, electrons. How do electrons respond to this electromagnetic interaction? And that will be the second half of today's lecture.